What's up, everybody? This is Joe from Support and Resistance Trading. I wanted to make a quick video for you guys today about my favorite strategy for day trading options at the open. Okay, now this strategy does work a little bit later on in the day, but the best time for this strategy is anywhere from 9:30 until 10 o'clock. And sometimes it happens very quick from about 9:30 to 9:40, but you can catch it later on. And I want to show you the stocks from today, all right, and how this strategy plays out and where you could get in or out of this strategy and where you get in and where you have a second opportunity and sometimes even third opportunity to get in on a trade, all right, like this. So what the opening strategy is what I call, and a lot of people call, it's the VWAP tag, all right? So as a stock opens up, it's either going to do one or two things. It's either going to go up, obviously, or it's going to go down. And sometimes it will kind of go sideways for a few candles before it makes its opening decision. So Boeing today, as soon as it opened, sold off. Okay, it sold off. Now, a big red candle like this, you should expect some sort of pause. All right, because people are going to be taking off. If they're short, they're going to be locking in some profits, and that's usually why I get a green candle after. So what I do is you want to make sure it made up its mind. Okay, and as the stock moves horizontally, it gets closer to the VWAP, and we call the first tag, the first obviously VWAP tag. Now, sometimes it literally taps it, or sometimes it just gets really close. All right, it doesn't always just tap it. People are like, oh, it didn't tap it. Is it really a tag? And that's really where your risk reward comes in on a VWAP tag. Now, I've seen stocks do this and then jump across, and that happens once in a while. But if you're going to enter this, you're seeing how it's kind of consolidating here around the 200 EMA, all right, or a half number of 3 to 250, right? This is where you would want to enter, risking a break of the VWAP and a continuation. Now, it seems like it could be a lot, right? And it can be. So this is where the risk comes in. You really want to have a nice entry. If you have a higher entry, right, your risk versus reward is better as it gets closer to the VWAP. Or you could have got in here when we broke through the low for a little bit of a safer entry as well. So if you miss this entry, which a lot of people will, because it happens so fast, right, as these candles are forming, you have sometimes and usually a second opportunity. And where's the second opportunity? When we bounced here and we continue back up and tapped it. And if you can't get it on this entry, right, you have multiple candles as it follows through to get in again, risking, right, the high above breaking through VWAP. So this is a little bit safer. You can get in as it's approaching here and kind of just watch the candle action. And if you got in one of these candles, your stop is just above and through the VWAP. Now, what's nice about a system like this is because above the VWAP is the 200 EMA and also the 50 EMA, right? And this horizontal resistance, right? That was this previous candle or where we broke through, right? This is clearly was some sort of resistance that we broke through. So we bounced up, we retested, and this is where you could set your buy and take the trade as it's going down, risking the high above the VWAP here, the 200 and the 50. And people are like, all right, that's great, but where do I get out? Well, you should get out at your first profit target, should be at a resistance point. Where's the first resistance point? Well, somewhere down here where these two candles tagged. And you can see, right, we broke through and then kind of bounced around that area for 3 candles, or a couple more really, before it actually continued to break down lower. So from here, right, if let's say you got an amazing entry, let's call it just 382, all the way down to 380, that's a $2 move. And in options, right, depending on your delta, that could be $100 to $150 actual move, right? So as you're entering these, you obviously want to have some sort of price target that you're looking at to take off your first or second contract, because you should try to carry a couple contracts so you get more of the move. And you keep your last one on here and slowly just move the stop down. When it bounces against you, you can take it off at that point, or a lot of people like to wait for it to make a higher low, which it did right here. Okay, higher low, this would be your exit. Okay, so that's what I like to call the VWAP tag. Now, it does sometimes work later on in the day and continue. As we zoom out, it tapped here, retapped here, and then collapsed, right? And it kind of just went back down lower. So you could get in here again at another VWAP tag. Once usually the stock picks a direction for the day, right, it usually maintains that direction. It does switch, but it usually will maintain that direction. Now let's look at another one. On the long side, Apple, okay? Kind of did it today, not really that great. Netflix, see, kind of bounced around. NVIDIA. NVIDIA sold off and then retested kind of a little bit, and then you know, we came in again and it kind of collapsed. Let's see, we did Tesla, Netflix. Let's look at Tesla. All right, so Tesla did it on the short side today and it crossed above. All right, so the VWAP tag on Tesla. Let's zoom in. Came down, broke through the VWAP, tapped the VWAP, collapsed, came back up again, and then kind of came out. Now, never second tap the VWAP for your entry, because it kind of just rode this 9 EMA down. All right, so sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't. But here's the first VWAP tag, very similar, right? Very similar to the trade we were just talking about, on Boeing, right? Look at the similarities. Horizontal tap, collapse, right? Let's look at NVIDIA, right? It kind of hovered around, like I said, before it made up its mind. This is a harder stock to trade when it comes to trading the first VWAP tag. All right, you can kind of trade one up in here, but it's not as obvious, right? It's not as obvious. So let me go to a longer time frame. I'll pull ones up from a previous day. Let's do 1 time interval, and we'll just do 5 days. We'll just okay. See if we can see any others. And I know I've played this in the past. Let's see what we get on NVIDIA. Here we go. What, 2 days ago? Right? Second VWAP tag for you to get in, right? Tapped it here, kind of was tapping it along, collapsed down. You could have gotten short here, risking another VWAP tag, right? Comes down, comes back up, taps it 1, 2, I guess 3, 4, almost 5 candles, and then continues back down. And your risk in your second VWAP tag, if you don't like to grab the first, is just a break of the VWAP and a hold of the VWAP, okay? So it does happen, and it happens pretty often. It happens almost every day. It's just how nice and perfect is the setup. Here's Apple. A couple days ago. Bounced around the VWAP. Once it made its decision, it broke down lower and lower, and it continued down. Not as clean. Not as clean. Okay? But here's a Tesla. Here's a good one. Here's Tesla on a long, so you can see it obviously works both sides. Ran up, came back down, kind of got close to VWAP, tested, and then it continued and just stayed above the VWAP. All right, how many entries did you have? The pullbacks that are getting close, you could use as entries, right? If you like, or you can really wait for it to make a VWAP tag before you go long. And clearly, you still had plenty of room on this move because it clearly was in a constant uptrend that just ran the 50 EMA all the way up. All right, so this is my favorite opening move of the day. If I don't catch the opening move, usually after that, I'm waiting for the stock to either hit support or resistance on either the pre-market or other setups that I have, or create a double bottom or double top, and then we're going to continue on. For example, Boeing this morning hit this line, right, which you can see along the chart was this previous high, right? Here, I'll try to put it in if I can. Yeah, close enough. Previous high here, tapped here, right? And then it hit that again. That's kind of been hovering around that 378 kind of for the better part of the afternoon here. Right? So you could take a bounce off here. Again, a different strategy. But what I'm talking about is the opening and these nice little VWAP tags. Boom, collapse, up, retag, collapse through. Okay? Now, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't always work. It doesn't always work. Let's see if I got any. I know I showed a bunch, but it can cross above or below the VWAP after, you know, and this is the, here's one, look at this one. Taps it again on Facebook. BABA, right? BABA crossed it later. Hits it, collapses, hits it again, collapses, continues on, and eventually does cross above it. All right? Choppy, choppy, choppy day. So this is the VWAP tag. You can even see the friggin' SPY did it today. All right, taps it, collapses, retags it, comes down, kind of gets close to it again, and comes down. All right, my favorite opening strategy. Sometimes it works out perfectly, sometimes it doesn't, but when it does, you catch a big majority of the move with opportunities for second entries. Okay, that's the nice part. It gives you confirmation that the trade was a positive trade. Oh, I missed it. All right, let me see if I can re-catch it, see if it retests while I'm watching other stuff. It retests, and I can catch the second part of the move if I missed the beginning with very little risk here. Okay, very little risk. All right, so that's my favorite opening strategy for day trading options. It really works well, especially on stocks that have good moves like Boeing, Tesla, Apple, BABA, all the ones that I have over here, and more. You can obviously trade. I don't think I have Netflix. You can do it on Google or Amazon. Let's see if Amazon does it for people that like to trade higher names. And obviously it doesn't. It's just, let's see if it did it at all. Kind of hovering around. All right. Here I kind of did it the other day. Spiked back up, came back down, kind of retested, and spiked above and above and above. So they all do it, right? They all do it. It's just how well is it doing it that day. That's why the strategy, you have to be watching a couple stocks, you know, as it's tapping it, and it, you know, keeps going. You just got to keep watching a bunch of stocks to see if it's doing it. And once it doesn't, or it does do it, if you missed it, you try to get a re-entry, or you play a different strategy later on in the day. This has been working well for me, so this is what I wanted to show you guys. It's my favorite opening strategy for day trading options. All right, and I will not be trading tomorrow. I probably most likely will not make a video tomorrow, and I hope everybody has a great Easter weekend, and I will see you first thing fresh on Monday morning. All right, thanks everybody.